tutorial, we talked about how to transfer data from the cell phone to the watch. So, for example, when you select a question and we click these buttons, how that information then comes into the watch. Now we're going to talk about how we go from the watch to the cell phone. So when we click comfy, for example, how this then goes back into the watch, to the cell phone, and then from the cell phone, it can connect to things like Wi-Fi and shoot it out into our cloud database. So to start off with, we will start with our app, and down kind of close to the bottom of the code, we have this compile data and send to companion section. And this is the main function that I'm going to talk about, and you might notice a similar pattern. So once again, the peer socket is the most efficient and fastest method, and we will always try that first. So if this peer socket connection is open from the watch side, this is great. We basically send messaging.peersocket.sendData, and that's all it is. Just sends the data to the companion, and then from the companion side, there's a section where we read data from the watch, and once again there is an event listener that listens out and, if activated, reads the data and sends it to our influx time series database. Now if that fails, which is often the case on a lot of Android devices and will always happen when the watch is out of Bluetooth range, or the cell phone's Bluetooth is off, or the Fitbit app is off, for example. There's so many scenarios when this does not work. So as a catch, we say, well, there's no PSO connection, so we're going to do it by file transfer. So firstly, we have also the scenario, unlike the previous scenario when we're sending from the cell phone to the watch, that people may log multiple data points without a connection. And if this happens, we don't want to just lose all the data and send just the last data point. We need to kind of locally store it and save it. So we have this local file. And of course, when we start this up, we want to read this local file. And this local file, where is it? Down here is where I save it. Basically reads up any new text, and if there's no existing data points, then it's not really a problem. And then I pushed whatever new value it is to this local file, and if it doesn't exist, I create it. So my last data point is now saved in this local file on the watch. And now if the user suddenly clicks another, gives another feedback point very quickly, this runs again, provided that the PSO connection's off, and then kind of saves the data point. I then have to prepare the outbox for file transfer. So this local.txt file that's saved is always in the outbox, and it's always enqueued. Enqueued? Anyway. And then, we set this onto queue, and then wait until a connection gets activated. And down here is where actually the file transferring takes place. So this function here, or this method, whatever you want to call it, basically organizes the whole file transfer. So if basically the transfer is successful, it then unlinks this local.txt file, so basically deletes the local.txt file so that data is no longer on the watch. And if not, there's some sort of error which then comes on the console when you're debugging. Now likewise on the companion side, you might notice that just looking at here, the syntax is quite different, or the way it's done is quite different. And this took me a lot of time to actually work out exactly how this happens. Anyway, now back on the other side, we have this async function that receives the messages via inbox, and this is constantly running a while, so it's always a wait, for this inbox. And when it arrives, I take the file, knowing that there are multiple data points potentially in this file. So if someone's been away from the cell phone and logged 10 data points, and there's going to be an array of 10 feedback points. And each one of these needs to be individually kind of mapped and sent to our Influx cloud database. And that is more or less it. I'll let you, kind of read the code and get your head around it. And if you have any questions, you can either submit it on, I guess you could submit it on Stack Overflow and CC me in it, or you can just put it into our GitHub issues, and I'll be happy to answer any questions, because it is a bit of a complicated system, unfortunately. And that's it.